Welcome back, my spooky loves. Go ahead and grab a hot drink, a cozy blankets, because tonight we're diving into 3 horror stories that I found on the internet. So, I thought these were so interesting, so turn off the lights, lock your doors, and let's get into this. It started with small things moving around my apartment. A coffee mug left on the kitchen counter would be on the bedside table when I woke up. A jacket I hung up by the door would end up neatly folded on the couch. At first, I blamed my terrible memory and exhaustion from working back-to-back 12-hour shifts. Then came the sounds. Every night at precisely 3:15 a.m., I would hear faint, deliberate footsteps directly above my bedroom. The problem? I live on the top floor of a 4-story pre-war building with a flat rooftop. There was no unit above me. And that's usually how it starts. It's always little sounds or something like that, and then next thing you know, the biggest one come out. One night after hearing a distinct dragging sound overhead, I finally decided to investigate. And that's how you get yourself in trouble. Armed with a flashlight and a basketball bat, I walked into the hallway and noticed the narrow access hatch to the building crawl space. Okay, first of all, absolutely not. The moment I see any type of slight movement of the hatch or a smudge or anything, I'm packing my stuff and moving out. I mean, immediately. The white painted frame had fresh, dark finger smudges around the edge. And I wouldn't be checking it. Well, like, what are you doing? Like, you don't, if you see that, you go and call the police and have them check it out. You don't check it out yourself. I drag a chair over, stood on it, and pushed the hatch open. I shined the light into the dusty, cramped rafters. Resting on a piece of plywood was a filthy sleeping bag and a collection of empty water bottles and several dozen photos. I leaned closer to look at the top photo, and it was a picture of me. Taken from above, asleep in my own bedroom. The date written on the bottom in black marker was yesterday. At that point, I'm giving whoever in there the whole room and they can just have it. I stared at the photo in horror, and a pair of bloodshot eyes suddenly reflected my flashlight beam from the dark corner behind the chimney stack. A raspy, hoarse voice whispered from the shadows.
"You're back early tonight."
I dropped from the chair and sprinted out my apartment. I didn't stop until I found a police officer 3 blocks away. That's the only good thing you did. Because why would you go into a crawl space? Like, I live at my mom's house, and she owns her house. When something is broken or something, usually the homeowner or whatever would go check it out. We don't do that. We call somebody to go up there and see what's going on. Because who about to go into a crawl space or somewhere dark? And we ladies don't do that. He brave. He's real brave. Like, just imagine to be so confident to stay in the attic. You have no AC, no like refrigerator or nothing like that. So you're just basically drinking hot water and anything that you can get your hands on that will last in the heat or outside a refrigerator. That's a rough life. And I understand people can have hard times and stuff like that, but that's rough. I feel bad for them type of people, but why would you want to stay in somebody's house? But let's go on to story number 2. So I used to drive a long distance to work late at night across a rural interstate highway. To stay awake, I scanned through the AM radio station when the local FM signals cut out. Somewhere between 2 tiny midways homes, on a rainy Tuesday around 2 a.m., the static cleared and calm. A polite announcer came on the air. He read off names, ages, and towns in the rhythmic cadence. David Miller, age 34. Greenfield, Sarah Jenkins, age 28. Oak Ridge. And it went on. It sounded like an old-fashioned community roll call or a memorial readout. But then I heard a name that made my heart freeze. My own brother's name. Followed by his exact age and current town. I gripped the steering wheel till my knuckles turned white. The voice kept going, listening stranger's name for another 10 minutes. Then the announcer spoke again, and his voice dropped an octave.
And now for the dynamic roster, Drive Safely, Round 4.
If a random radio station ever called out my sibling's name, I don't got no siblings. But if I ever heard my sibling's name, their age, and the town they in, best to know I would be trying to figure out what's going on. I'm calling. Hey, what's going on? Why is the radio station saying your name? Sound like they saying somebody's name that died. What's going on? I wanted to keep driving, but let's jump right back into it. The voice paused and then read my name, my exact age, and my current vehicle make and model. Wow. The voice added, approaching mile marker, 82 speed, 68 miles per hour, rear tire pressure dropping. If a random radio station ever calls out my tire pressure, I am pulling over and calling the priest and the police, because we got to get this solved right now. We got to handle this. But let me stop. I'm not pulling over. I'm going to keep driving, but I might turn her back around. Because, what? A second later, my car violently jerked to the right as my rear tire blew out completely. Now, I don't know what type of radio station this is, but it basically put a jinx out on this person's car because there was nothing going on with their tire until the radio station said something. So it had to be some type of witchcraft, sorcery, or something. Cause ain't no way. Sending me skedaddling into the gravel shoulder. As I sat there in pitch black with my hazards lights on blinking, the radio crackled back into pure uninterrupted static. Yeah, that radio station was out to get him. Cause ain't no way. Your tire, you getting a flat tire in the dark. Okay, that's scary. But the real horror about this is having a random radio station not only named your brother and what town he is, not only named you and it was telling everybody which direction you was going in and how fast you was going, but to have them say, and their tires about to go out and you're in the rain, that's pure madness. Pure madness. But let's move on to story number 3. I spent 6 months working security for an abandoned, decommissioned hospital set to be demolished. My job was simple. Sit in the guard booth, check the monitors, and walk the perimeter once every 2 hours to make sure squatters hadn't broke in. I see, we already starting off bad. On my 3rd week, Monitor 4, which covered the basement hallway leading to the old morgue, began to glitch. Every night at 1 a.m., the feed would suddenly jump to static for 3 seconds and then turn to normal. Okay. One night, I decided to be right outside the morgue hallway at 1 a.m. to see what was causing the interference. I walked down the dim, damp corridor with my flashlight beam cutting through the dust. You are brave. My watch hit 1 a.m. The emergency lights overhead flickered and died, plunging the hallway into pure darkness. In the beam of my flashlight, the heavy steel door to the morgue swung slowly open on its rusty hinges. Cause if I would have, first of all, I'm not going down there. You already know that. But if I did, as soon as the door opened, baby, they would have called me Bolt. Cause I would have been flying down that hallway to get back to my booth, picking up my stuff. Hey, boss, I quit. with the quickness. I'm gone. But let's get back into the story. Oh, I stood frozen. From inside the room came a sound like wet steps shuffling across the floor. Then came a rhythmic, dry thumping sound of an old metal gurney being pushed across the floor. I shined my light into the doorway. A rusty gurney was rolling out into the hallway on its own power. Rolled up on top of it was a stained yellow mattress. Printed in faded black ink on the side of the mattress was a message freshly scrawled out in fresh wet paint. Your turn to lay down. I turned around, sprinted up 3 flights of stairs, left my guard key card on the desk, and drove straight home. I never went back for my last paycheck. Thank you. But you're too late. As soon as you seen that door open, you should have been gone. But at least they left. And I wouldn't have been back either. Cause, you was not about to get me talking about your turn to lay down next. No, no ma'am. No. But okay, that was the end of the stories. I hope you enjoyed these 3. Which ones was the spookiest for you? Let me know down in the comments. And if you could, please subscribe and like. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, my spooky babes.